All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a wonderful day. We had a little bit more carnage today, and it was all because of those rate cut odds and data. But surprisingly, the Fed speakers did not have to say much because the damage from yesterday still continued on. So now we got to talk about what's happening, the small caps, and where that rally is going, the data for the rest of the week, and why the strong data is being so pesky, and finally the market is changing its mind. So I got the recap for the day. I have the plays. I got a little bit more info, a couple of earnings, what I need from you, a thumbs up on the video, make sure you're subscribed, and if you don't know, we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open, youtube.com/thestackmarket. Run it, baby.
Walking to the couch, it's the 2020 last. Live in the hills, but still get a spread. Started with a live, but still reinvest it. Feel how I feel, then you feel like a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but the sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down, hold it down.
But right off the bat, before we get into the keys, I'm going to give you a little bit of checkup all across the board. You can see where the S&P 500 is. It is hovering right above the level of post-Powell, December 13th. The bond yields went higher again, aka TLT going lower, and once again, the dollar went up. It closed barely lower, but at one point, it was up by 0.3 while we were hitting the lows on the day, and overall, the dollar is still causing a lot of carnage. So that's where we're going to start with, but why did we get what we had today? There was more hawkish talk from the ECB. There was a little bit of it yesterday, but during Davos, ECB President Lagarde, she was saying, yeah, we'll probably cut rates around summer. Why is that not good? Once again, you're getting all of these Fed people across the globe saying they want to cut rates. Even that's what Waller said yesterday, but they are saying it's going to happen later than expected. That is why summer was not good for ECB, because everybody was expecting in the springtime. So not only did you get that, we had strong data here in the United States. The retail sales, that came in good. And like we were talking about, after everything Waller said, that is not going to support things, and I'll explain a little bit, but the cherry on top, not only did you have the central bankers yesterday and today pushing back on these really imminent rate cuts, you even had UK inflation start to go up a little bit hotter than expected, but that's not what anybody wants to see, especially considering our CPIs were just a tad stronger a few weeks ago. So that's where we're going to start with, but a lot of people have been asking this question. They're like, wait a minute, if we're talking about rate cuts still, why are we getting mad if the data is strong? It's very simple. If the data comes in hotter and the data is showing that the economy is not cratering at a fast pace after all of these rate hikes and all of these months of staying higher for longer, it is not giving the need for an imminent rate cut. Pretty much, if you're able to get growth still and the growth isn't falling off of a cliff, it makes sense for people to wait, especially in the central banks, well beyond March to begin cutting, because until you have a real necessary need, a lot of people were thinking, oh, the Fed's admitting they're in a corner now. If they're talking about rate cuts, that means the data is going to deteriorate really fast. We haven't seen any of that. The non-farms, the jobs, the manufacturing, that was one area that went down, but everything else, including the CPI, nothing is showing a quick or dramatic shift that is justifying the 7 rate cuts. Remember, before Powell was speaking, the market was already pricing in 3 to 4 rate cuts, and the Fed was behind that, and then the Fed came in and they said, okay, we moved our dot plot. Powell started caving, so did everybody else, and then the market said, oh yeah, that means we're going to get 7 rate cuts. But now, with about a month since that event has happened, none of the data is cratering faster. The market's getting a little impatient, and now all of these Fed people and even the data, it's pushing back a little bit to this idea that you are going to get a lot of rate cuts. That is the weird dynamic, because you are getting all of these Fed people all across the world. They are talking about rate cuts, and they're still saying, yeah, that is what we plan on doing by the end of the year, but not as fast as people are expecting. And the more or the longer it takes for the data to show up, the market is going to calm down on this whole entire notion. So that's what we got here for 48 hours so far. And the thing I will tell you, maybe this reverses next week and we watch the rate cut odds all go back. It all depends on the data, but for now, this has been the strongest pushback in weeks. Last week, the rate cut odds for March, they were standing at 80%. I believe today, you are standing at 53%. And one thing I had there on the keys, you'll see it when I go back to it, I really want you to think about the non-farm payrolls just a couple of weeks ago. If you remember that day, I even have the watch list. I was telling you how nutty it was because what happened, we had the non-farms come in, and as a result, these same March odds, they dropped all the way down to 40%, but by the time the market opened up, they bounced right back. The difference is we've had about almost a 30% move in the last couple of days, but this time it is actually sticking. So even if you come down to December, these odds are starting to reverse. You could go compare it with the previous week probability, but you see how wide this is. There is still a lot of rate cuts priced in. So the difference is moving forward here now, you got people debating about March, and then depending on how the data plays out and how long it takes, it has to work through all of the December rate cut odds because you are still pricing in a decent amount of rate cuts, with the majority still saying we're going to be at 4%. I believe that is still like 5 or 6 rate cuts. It's not as if you have gotten rid of this big amount of rate cuts, but for now, the market is adjusting to this imminent cut that should be happening in 60 days because that is what a lot of people were pricing in just as of Friday. So that is your first key. I hope it explains some of what's going on and why everybody's still freaking out, even though the market's at 4,700 or above that. But now we got to talk about this because I was telling you about it earlier. We caught this on the move up, but the Russell and the small caps, they are now in danger. Any ideas from the Russells to the regional banks? These are the things that are getting affected more by rate cut odds dropping. Do I think these plays are absolutely over? Not at all, because if we do in fact get those December odds and then we do start seeing cuts, maybe we see a lot in the middle of the year, or maybe you just get that 3 or 4 that was originally priced in, they will be able to benefit. But for now, that hype and this bubbliness that we were getting and these aggressive moves, they are getting in danger now, because if the rate hike odds get pushed back, I wouldn't be surprised to see some of these plays fall off. And if you haven't seen the Russell as of late, this is one of the only asset classes that is now giving up majority of what it was doing on that Fed day. Most things are holding right at the top. The Russell is now down. Bonds and the dollar and other things gave up as well, even gold. But if you look at an index level, NASDAQ and the SPY, they're actually holding up pretty decent when you start to pull it out. So the only thing we got to watch out for here is the Russells in the short term, because you will start having a negative effect there. But now what you need to be looking out for, one, do we start squashing these rate cut odds, and does the market calm down? If it does, it'll probably affect those plays. But now the next level, it's going to be those long duration and tech stocks. But are they going to move with the rates in the dollar? Not quite yet. Why? You have earnings right around the corner. How come these indexes are holding up? How come the rate cut odds are pushing back and they're not giving up the same way? One, you have 7 stocks pretty much holding up everything. But two, you have earnings, and after we get their earnings, then the market will be able to move and say, all right, now it makes sense. They don't have good earnings. The rate cuts are up, or the rate cut odds are coming down. They're going to have to deal with this environment. They're not growing the same. Maybe we should sell those and only buy the winners. That is something that we could see in the next couple of weeks. So with that being said, to bring you into tomorrow and the rest of the week, what I'm looking for, you have Fed Bostic tomorrow. He has been bullish lately. He did fight back a little bit about rate cuts and them happening soon, but he was bullish on quantitative tightening. But in general, it does seem like every Fed member has kind of picked up an aggressive tone. But even though we were expecting that, we didn't really get any of that today out of any of the Fed speakers. They all kind of turned into non-events, so maybe that happens. But other than that, you're going to get initial jobless claims tomorrow. Maybe we move around with some of the real estate data. The Philly Fed is probably going to be negative. We'll see if that causes a positive outcome. But for the most part, I am not expecting that we break the range or recover until we get over this expiration on Friday. There's going to be a big expiration on January January 19th. It feels like every expiration has been the biggest one in the time and the options in the total notional amount. It's like we hear that every single time, but I wouldn't be surprised. We saw this at the beginning of last year too. Anytime those expirations get out the way, we start to move. And now with earnings and the big earnings following up, hopefully this all kind of makes sense with everything we said already in this video. I do think that the earnings, they are going to start the carnage up or down after we get out of these expirations, and then we see where it leads us. But that's what I'm expecting. I think it should be fairly simple. Maybe I'm wrong on this, and usually if I'm wrong about staying in a range, that means it's going to move wicked. So we'll see what happens. But now let us get into the plays. So right off the bat, I got a couple of different plays, but I got to start with the earnings one because two standard deviations has struck in again. We played it on Discover. This one was live intraday, so I was not able to give you an update on the watch list because they literally reported after hours. But the thing about Discover, they move a lot. They have made a big move right
Order submitted. Order canceled. Order submitted. Order filled. Target filled. Target filled.
Wait for it. Wait for it. Oh, there it is. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're having a wonderful day. If you're watching this and it does not say live at the bottom of the screen, unfortunately, you're watching the recap. The good news is we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open. Drop your thumbs up on the video. Make sure you're subscribed. You're on mobile. Press hot chat. X out the chat. Hit the thumbs up button. Second link for the nightly watch list and main channel. First link for the Scream Alerts Bootcamp and real estate course. But ladies and gentlemen, it is a very interesting morning after all of the carnage with rate cuts and rate cut odds going back and forth yesterday. Everybody feeling like we're going to push back a little bit. You kind of woke up with a little bit of relief, and then 30 minutes ago, you had the data all come out. There was everything from jobless claims all the way down to real estate data, new home builds, Philly Fed, and all of it ended up coming out good. And then you had a little bit more of a pop, and then we started to come down a little bit. But now, still up about 0.36. This is not bad at all considering how we have started off this whole week. You had some good earnings. TSM, they actually killed it. That's another 2 standard deviation play that should be in the money right now. But the thing is, it is going to affect all of those chip makers that have been running every single day. You had bad earnings out of Discover. You did have a couple of plays actually do good here today. You did have bad news out of Humana, and a couple of others were able to go up. I think Swiss Watchmaker did bad, but for the most part, everybody was feeling a little bit better. China stocks rallied, but now we have to deal with a couple more Fed speakers and see if this could actually hold up. You already had Bostic in the morning, and again, it was a head scratcher. We were still up, but it's not like he said anything that would have been good. So, Chatadonia, I hope you're ready for the morning. Welcome to Friday, Junior. It's gonna be a good one. And I have the news, and we're going to do it. We might do today a little differently. So if I start voice cracking halfway through, then we're going to talk a little bit because there's so much that we got to be able to read. So, Chatadonia, how you living, baby? Good morning. What's going on? Get hype, baby. How you doing, Riley? Zuraz, Tim Whitman, a Wise, baby. Mr. Open Face Sandwich, baby. Winning loser, Carissa Hines. Laker J. Good morning, baby. How you living, Jerry? Good morning, Humble Business. Good morning, Chrissy. Good morning, Slay. Tyler G, baby. Mr. Don, forget my cup. Oh, you forgot it? It's okay. You'll be good. El Trapato, Agent of Chaos, Theodore, Osklim, Gary G, baby, Ari, Jay Samuels, Lucky Soldier. Good morning. How you living, Mr. Justin, Jim Willis, Jeffrey Powell, Jerry Woods, Snay, baby, Mr. Lucky J, Battleborn, Dylan, Dirty Board, Kev Dog, baby. Oh, Kev Dog in the house. Let's go, baby. Infinity, Neil, Nathan Evans, Alaskan Assassin, Mavis, Sons of Averaging, Gunner, UAV Panda, UAV Online, Hector, good morning, Victor, Mr. Nepal, baby. How you living? What up, Callie? What up, Bill? How you
Order
doing, Candy?
submitted.
Up there, Battleborn, ready to go, baby. Oh, Pirelli, Matt Taylor, baby, Johnny, Jive, ASP, Kevin Bliss in the house, baby. Good morning, Radical, Ben Stone, Angel, Rex, Mr. Light Tabs. I was going to say Lightsaber. Good morning, baby. How you doing, Kenny Miranda, Daquan, Rami, CYB, Q, Mr. or Mrs. Kakana, Ray G, Jorge Alvarez, ASD, Nando, Project Will, Chris, baby. How you living? Tejas, Zero, Gary Jr., Joff Sports, baby. Light Abyss. I saw that one yesterday, baby. How you doing, Light? Good to see you again. Luigi, the Bad Brigade, Paul, Castro, Yair, Lori. Oh, my goodness. Good morning, baby. How you living, Russo? How you living, Cam? Yeah, bring the hype, man. Bring the hype. Oh, Najee, well, ready to go. Friday almost here. Amen, man. It's Friday. Junior, Khan, Datilli, Isaac, Ian, Isaac and Ian, Isaac, Ayan, Booze. Good morning, baby. How you doing, Peggy? How you doing, Mr. Axel? What about the Twitch? Good morning, Chatadonia. El Coyote in the house, 8012. Nikki on Smash, the real K-Doll. Mr. Rocky Balboa, Sencal Hustle, 8012. Bruce Mercado, Crypto Bean, the real Kiddo, 8012 again. Preforms, damn royalty, baby. Devlin in the house. Blizzy Bean, Mr. What is that? Ibex, Volsky. Good morning. Feed me Seymour, KJ Lemur, the real K-Do again. Oh, K-Do, you showing up today. Good morning, baby. Blowing Dough, Payday Devo, Robo Handtech, and Nikki on Smash, baby. Good morning. Oh, I hope y'all living good. I hope y'all living good, man. It's going to be a good morning, so let's go. I'm going to try to get you as much news, and we'll see. I don't know if the Honda has to warm up. As long as I say it, everything with a lot of hype, and I say it really fast, I can't lose my voice. I don't know if I can't never say never, but Chattadonia, good morning. I hope you're ready for one. It's going to be a head-scratcher today. I think every day's a head-scratcher. Hopefully we get some moves, you know? I'm not even yelling. I'm just, if I talk really fast, it's going to come out. That's why it's good. If I talk too slow, then it's not going to, then I'm like, so like the video, baby. Like the video, and good morning. So let's see what we have for the news. Stock drops as solid data fuel Fed pivot repricing. Stocks retreated and bond yields climbed on speculation that the Federal Reserve will be in no rush to cut interest rates as the economy shows signs of resilience. At a time when good economic news is not really that great from a policy perspective, a solid reading on retail sales has fueled concerns about Wall Street's bold dovish bet, and with central bank officials recently striking a more cautious tone about the prospects for easing, it ended up being the perfect recipe for traders to push back the timing of the first Fed move, assigning lower odds of a rate cut reduction in the first quarter. We will still need to see data that is consistent with still healthy and resilient consumer, but not to the point where the Fed would be inclined to delay rate cuts or less in 2024, said Thomas Say, former Merrill Lynch trader who founded the Sevens Report. Strong consumer spending helped propel the economy in recent weeks, and the Fed said in its Beige Book survey, bond traders abandoned wagers that the Fed will cut rates in March, pushing swaps to a level consistent with only about 50% odds of a quarter-point reduction during the first quarter. Treasury yield 2 years top 4.3. The move also reflected a slide in UK bonds showing that inflation data picked up, marking traders' bets on the Bank of England easing. The dollar rose and the S&P extended losses. Wall Street's fear gauge, the VIX, hit the highest since November. U.S. retail sales rose at a strong pace in 3 months, capping a solid holiday season that suggested consumer resilience heading into the new year. Separate data showed homebuilder sentiment climbed in January by the most in nearly a year as lower mortgage rates boosted consumer traffic, sales, economics. While a further slowdown possibly lies ahead, there is still little suggest a sharper downturn is in store. A recession seems increasingly unlikely, said David Russell at TradeStation. Despite weathering an inflationary storm, consumers still have pent-up demand and dollars to spend. A soft landing could be taking shape before our eyes. With consumer confidence gaining momentum, the economic landscape remains on solid ground, and the market reaction suggests that hopes for a March rate cut become more elusive, according to Quincy Crosby at LPL. In fact, there have been a repeated refrain from the thongs of financiers in Davos this week. Rein in your rate cut expectations. Everybody from J.P. Morgan, Daniel Pinto, to Standard Chartered's Bill Winters to Cantor Fitzgerald's Howard Lutnick have said that they expect monetary policy to ease slower than anticipated. Still, traders are expecting the Fed to embark on a reversal of aggressive tightening campaign that lifted the cap of the Fed funds rate to 5.5 in July from 0.25 at the start of 2022, but they look for rate cuts to total about 140 basis points, down from a recent peak of 175. Jason Draho, UBS, said it's unlikely to be a smooth path for rates. Investors will be debating the soft landing, stage of the cycle, macro regime, and the wide dispersion of views now. As earnings season continues, investors will need to consider the rate outlook alongside financial results, according to Jason Torres, or Jose Torres, of Interactive Brokers. Corporate highlights: operating Boeing 737 MAX have completed inspections on an initial batch of 40 planes, a key step to eventually end the grounding of the aircraft ordered by U.S. regulators in the wake of the accident earlier this month. Apple has to stop selling Series 9 and Ultra 2 smartwatches with blood oxygen feature in the U.S. suffering another legal setback. Charles Schwab reported declines in profits, new assets and deposits. JetBlue sank as investors assessed the fallout of their failed pursuit of Spirit Airlines, dragging down carriers. Bayer laid out plans for sweeping changes, including significant job cuts in managerial ranks. Birkenstock first earnings report since the company is as a public company on Thursday is ripe for volatility. Samsung Electronics is turning to artificial intelligence to revamp their flagship Galaxy smartphones. Verizon Communications is writing down the value of their business service division by $5.8 billion, and Dish Network debt exchange ambitions are causing consternation among traders who have bought a form of insurance that pays out if the struggling satellite division company defaults. Events this week, you already had jobless claims and everything else. Tomorrow, Canada retail sales, Japan CPI and tertiary index, U.S. and existing home sales, and University of Michigan consumer sentiment, and ECB Lagarde and San Francisco Fed Mary Daly. So let's go. Is that too fast? I don't know. That was a lot, actually. I feel like that was a lot more news than expected there, but I think we got all of that out there. So not too bad. Not too bad. recanting rate bets. Bond traders are heading towards central bank warnings and abandoning wagers that the Fed will cut rates. They are now seeing a 50% chance of a quarter-point reduction in the federal funds rate in the first quarter versus a rate cut in March that is seen as almost a sure thing last month. Behind the rethink, stronger than expected retail sales, hotter than anticipated domestic inflation. 2-year notes have risen more than they have in the last few months. More U.S. strikes. Middle East tensions are ratcheting up after the U.S. launched another round of strikes of Yemen Houthis overnight. The American military targeted 14 Houthi missiles just before midnight Yemeni time. Hours later, Pakistan launched missiles against militants in Iran. Oil price edged higher on Thursday following the strikes, with Brent rising above 78 a barrel as concerns building around the potential interruptions for crude production and disrupted supply chains. Uh-oh, there it is. Since the war between Israel and Hamas erupted in October, the Houthis have attacked vessels in the Red Sea. U.S. bases have come under fire with Iran-backed groups in Iraq and Syria, and Tehran striking targets in neighboring countries. Tech recovery. TSMC, the main chip maker to Apple and NVIDIA, said they expect to return to solid growth, suggesting the world's most valuable chip maker anticipates a recovery in smartphone and computing demand. TSMC is budgeting capital expenditure of $28 billion to $38 billion or $32 billion and expects revenue to bounce back to at least 20% this year. The Taiwanese company's outlook, while not quite surpassing the most bullish estimates, comes after years of a long slump in tech demand, but these results should boost the signs of recovery for the chip-making sector that have emerged in recent weeks. TSMC also announced a delay to their $40 billion plant in Arizona. Apple setback, you know about that one. Bop. S&P futures. They're up by 0.3 Thursday morning trading after U.S. equities finished lower on Tuesday, with small caps and lower quality factors among the laggards again. Cyclicals, online brokers, and China tech, some of the other underperformers. Treasuries are narrowly mixed, off best levels after a big backup in yields over the last couple of sessions. Dollar is down by 0.2, gold is up by 0.2, Bitcoin futures off by 0.6, and WTI is up by 0.3. Market trying to stabilize following recent repricing of March rate cut expectations down to 50 from 80 just a week ago. Related financial condition tightening, some of the help from select high-profile earnings. TSMC and Richmond, along with the bounce in Greater China bourses, following another ramp-up in the uninvestable mantra stimulus disappointment. In addition, Apple caught a sell-side upgrade this morning. Also still some cushion from favorable combination of Fed pivot and heightening expectations of U.S. economy avoiding a recession. In addition, stretched position sentiment still a go-to excuse for dampened risk appetite. In recent weeks, upcoming batch of mega-cap tech earnings flagged as another potential bounce driver given outsized growth and contribution in secular growth themes. Some firms have also discussed upcoming reopening of corporate buyback. Initial jobless claims beat lowest since September 2022, while continuing claims also beat lowest since October. Philly Fed missed, but better month-over-month easing concerns from yesterday's big Empire State miss.
Order
and
submitted.
The lowest since May 20th. December housing starts and building permits both beat in the latest strong housing market data. In addition, Fed Bostic speaks twice this morning, recently told the Financial Times progress on inflation likely to slow and the Fed should stay on hold until at least summer. Fits with the broader pushback of, again, more aggressive rate cuts, though policymakers continue to embrace a broader pivot. TSM post positive earnings stand out with focus of guidance of 20 to 25% revenue growth. Humana under pressure after they guided down on elevated utilization. Fastenal Q4 in line, though linearity positive. DFS under pressure on high provision, higher expenses. Disappointing guidance surrounding loan growth, margin, and credit loss. Key NII guide below. Burke had a slight beat in full year outlook pegged as largely in line. SNV beat with some focus on NIM, while 24 guidance largely unchanged. Alcoa EBITDA light, though bar low, and stock already down 20% this year and lower commodity price overhang. Apple caught sell-side upgrade, funded on upgrade cycles, service growth, and capital return prospects. The Verge reported job cuts coming at Google, MDC to be acquired by Syskusal, House for $4.9 billion, and Taro to be acquired by Sun Pharmaceuticals at a 13% premium to their initial proposed price last May. Bop. Mr. Bombastic. The Bostic bounce is kind of there, man. It's kind of there. It's not too crazy. Yeah, sell side upgrade. So I think they were on the sell side, and now they said we want to be on the buy side. So we like them now. Bowman says Fed plans to boost bank capital needs substantive changes. ECB officials converge around June to start cutting rates. Bank of Japan Ueda recent remarks douse chances of January policy change. IMF officials warn central banks against fueling market hopes for rapid interest rate cuts. Markets pair rate cut bets after central bankers push back against aggressive easing. S&P 500 VIX highest since November amid Fed rate path uncertainty, geopolitical tension, and mixed start to the U.S. earnings season. Goldman Sachs says increased government borrowing and central bank efforts to reduce balance sheet will boost debt yields. Global corporate default surge into December, taking 12-month trailing default rate to the highest since May of 21. China signals no big stimulus in 24, testing investor patience. Loss of momentum has worldwide implications. Patchy economic growth, lack of strong stimulus, global investors shy away from China. Japan machinery orders shrink as manufacturers pulled orders amid challenging economic backdrop. Sharp decline in Australian employment reinforces RBA rate outlook. Department of Justice to file antitrust against Apple as soon as March. Apple Watches go on sale without blood oxygen feature after court ruling. Google employees to start expecting more job cuts this year. FAA says inspection of first Boeing 737-9s have finished. Heads of biggest aircraft leasing companies says Boeing needs to focus on safety over financial targets. Tesla cut price of Model Y in Europe a week after reducing demand in China. TSMC expects steady investment after quarter 4 beat. Samsung will incorporate Google generative AI in the new 24 smartphone. Non-OPEC producers driving global supply gains. OPEC forecast global oil demand will continue to increase strongly in 25, driven by China recovering economy. Rerouting of ships around Africa, altering refueling patterns, boosting demand for bunker fuel at far-flung ports. Though size of Suez Canal drops to lowest level since 2021 blockage, parts of U.S. experience record gas demand as severe winter shuts Texas refinery and triggers malfunctions at others. Biden and congressional leaders make little progress towards deal on U.S. border tied to funding for Ukraine and Israel. U.S. launches another round of strikes against 14 Houthi targets. Pakistanians carry out strikes against terrorist hideouts in Iran, retaliating against Tehran strikes the day before. Iran strikes in Iraq, Pakistan, and Syria, a signal that Tehran will not be passive in current conflict. A working group of U.S. Treasury and Chinese officials to meet this week in Beijing, and latest signs of a closer economic engagement. Yeah, DFS, bro, we were just in the money, and they just scammed us on that, baby. But the TSM, I think you got $3 in the money, so we'll see what everything ends up, Habibi. We will see what everything ends up, my friends. My goodness, but there it is. That's a lot of news today. That's a lot of news, especially compared to yesterday. My goodness. Let's see what we have. We still got a couple of plays, so I hope you're ready. Again, TSM, they're up by 8%, bringing up all of the other chip makers. DraftKings, they're at 5.5 FLTR earnings. It was a UK gambling company. They did very good. 3.3 on Fastnall for earnings. STM up 3.3. TSM earnings. Zebra up 3.1. USPS award. Pinterest up 3.0. Argus Research upgrade. SYM up 3. Affirm up 2.7. Grab up 2.7. JP Morgan upgrade. ISRG 2.6. Square 2.6. IoT 2.6. Unity 2.6. DT 2.4. Net is up by 2.3. Bernstein initiates market perform. Zscaler, Bernstein initiates market perform. Palantir up 2.3. Apple up 2.2. Bank of America upgrade. And TSM earnings sympathy. MTB is up by 1.6. VFS up 1.6. Palo Alto, they are up 1.2. Bernstein outperform. NTRS up by 0.7 off of earnings. MDC up 17.8. Siskusi House acquires MDC at $63 a share. All cash offer worth $4.9 billion. Ramp is up 8.4 to acquire Habu for $200 million, and they gave guidance. Hertz is up by 7.8. Morgan Stanley upgrade.
Order canceled.
Peabody up by 6.0. Will replace ELF and S&P Small Cap 600. IonQ up 4.3. Rumble 4.2. SGHC 4.1. Open 3.5. NVCR is up by 3.5. FDA acceptance of PMA application for TTF Fields therapy. RXRX is up by 3.3, Lucid up 3.2, ACHR up 3.2, AI up 3.1, Celu up 46.1, private placement, warrant repricing and amended loan agreement, Cron up 15.1, LPCN is up by 11.7, license agreement, Blink is up by 5.9, LC is up by 5.0, IMTC up 4.6, 15 million share offering priced at 11. Humana down 14% on guidance. All other healthcare getting smashed as well. DFS up by 10 or down by 10.8 off of earnings. SYF Capital One is sympathy. Key Corp down 2.8 off of earnings. KMI down 0.1 off of earnings. Plug Power is down by 14.8. Enters at the money sales agreement for $1 billion in common stock. Birkenstock down by 11.8 off of earnings. PLTK down 4.2. Bank of America downgrade. FSM down 4.2 off of earnings. VRSDN down 2.7. 7.1 million share priced at $21. WGO down 2.5, private offering, $300 million of convertible senior notes. ELF down 2.0 to replace Spirit Realty and S&P Midcap 400. Talo down 1.8, 30 million shares priced for gross proceeds of $350 million. Alcoa down 0.3 off earnings. Surge down 10.6, 2.7 secondary offering at 5.6. Lux H down 7.6 to respond to short seller report. And then Save down 4.7. City downgrades to sell. Not bad. Not bad, Chattadonia. I have a couple of plays for you. I'm going to be watching TSM. Those plays should be in the money. Discover, that play was in the money till like 20 minutes ago. But like I said, that might be one for double dips and moving all the way around. So watch out for that. Keep an eye out on gold if we get dollar stabilization today. DraftKings, again, they're up 5%, but there was really good earnings on a sympathy overseas. So watch out for that. Then PayPal and Square, both of them kind of continuing from yesterday. So going to be watching out for that. Then BTU, they're getting added to the mid caps, but also there's been a lot of activity in those coal stocks and energy there. So watch out for that. And then keeping an eye on CART from yesterday. But that being said, Chattadonia, before we hear the news, you already got the data. You got a bunch of other stuff. You tell me, my friend. You tell me, my friend. What is your first play of the day? What do you got for me? Post it in the chat, baby. Good morning. I just dropped a gold coin. I didn't mean to do that. Coal. Humana Long, watching Pfizer calls, UPS, SPY, selling SPY calls, MNQ Long, Tesla Long, RTY, Rocket Lab, Humana down 12, Apple Flips, AMD, SPY Option, closing 106, TSM, calls on everything, selling half of TSM, cash only, calls on coal, Ethereum, AMD, call, Cat put, Amazon, sell TSM, UWMC, Datadog, selling AMD 165, AMD calls, holding TSM calls, CVS, Tesla put, Apple call, puts on Walgreens, NEE, DWOC put, DWOC at 22, first average in TMF, Coin Long, scalping, fading the bounce, CVS, selling TSM, praying for Josh, closing TSM, holding, XOM puts to 88. After TSM gap fill, maybe watching closing SPY calls, long term on my mind. UAG, CVS put, SPY put, save shares, Unity calls, SPY calls, save, put. MES probably short, but following price action. What's good for the news pump? SPY calls, Unity, Big Pop, Grab, Apple Flip, SPY calls, MSTR, Kaching, Baba calls, Siri Law, NVIDIA, selling DFS, Affirm wins and calls, selling puts on the long term buys, just thankful for another day. Oil calls, NVIDIA long, good morning, GLD, don't go chasing waterfalls, MES, NVIDIA to 600, Tesla long, DraftKings call, dollar, long term, baby. SoFi morning, SQ48 put, and the final plays, my friends. The final plays. DFS perch. GLD, Boeing call, XOM, Broadcom, SMCI, and TSM long, baby. Wow.
Order submitted.
Chattadonia, not bad. Not bad, baby. Not bad. So I already went over my place. Italy plans to sell $2 billion E&I stake to reduce debt. We got a couple of plays out there. Again, at the very least, we'll get to ride a TSM in the money. I do think the Discover, though, I don't know. I'm kind of down to play with it a little bit here. If we get some back and forth, like I said, keep an eye on the dollar, and we'll see what other things happen from there. But Chattadonia, that is pretty much it. We got a couple more minutes. I will field some questions, but first let me go to the bathroom. I will be right back. So follow me on Instagram at the Trading Fraternity, baby. I got a picture of my. Never mind. Anyway, I'll be right back. Oh, never mind. I'm not gonna be right back. They playing me. I thought it was a good time for a commercial, bro. You guys want to hear some ads? I could leave it unmuted while I go pee. Let me just chug some water here.
Does Mr. Result
Oh, we'll give you some Jim Kramer.
better
Piss
than
some
say?
of y'all
Does
off.
he know more than say James
All right,
Corman
I'll leave it unmuted.
about the entertainment business?
Disney?
Yeah.
For sure. I know James. I don't know how many times James has been to the park. I don't know what experience James has with Disney. And oh, by the way, James, who I like very much, was given a board seat. He didn't have to have a plan for the company. He did not.
Do you have a white paper that I can see? Do you have a white paper that I can see?
Hold it. He didn't have to set a goal for the company. He got invited on the board. Okay?
Yeah, he did.
And I've got to go through these bells and whistles. Hey, guys, I'm the largest shareholder in this company.
Well,
the largest independent. Listen to me.
I want to come
I'm
back
the
to that for a
largest
second, Nelson.
independent shareholder in this company.
But are you? I mean, Ike Perlmutter is. I still don't
Oh,
fully
really?
understand.
Really? Let me ask
wait.
you
Let me ask
something.
the question. I want because I am curious about this from a fund
Go.
perspective. Right, you know, 25 plus million of the shares that you are voting, so to speak, are Ike's, and then Trian owns, my understanding is 7+ million. What's your relationship with Perlmutter? Is he paying you? Are you getting fees somehow? Like, you're doing an awful lot here that really wouldn't seem to actually add the economic value for Trian holders, given your relatively small ownership of Disney when you take out Perlmutter stock.
David, I am thrilled you asked that question. Okay? Thrilled. Okay?
I like his drapes in the
because
background.
every fund
Go
around
pretty hard.
has investors.
Mickey Mouse
Whether
till
it's
we
a pension
die.
fund, doesn't make a difference. Whether it's a sovereign fund.
That's cool. I want to listen to Nelson Peltz, but guess what? I don't think he's a veteran, baby. Oh, y'all don't feel me. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Cult. I hope you're having a great morning, but here at the Cult, before we do anything, before we try to chase a dollar, before we try to enrich ourselves, we must pay homage to a very special group of people that has sacrificed more than most of us ever have and ever will, and I am talking about the veterans of the United States of America. So that's why, man, on behalf of the Cult, the people here, the people not here, I want to give a huge special shout out all the active servicemen, past servicemen, anybody who has served this country, even the families. Thank you for making the ultimate sacrifice. Whether people gave you the respect y'all deserve or not, whether you agreed with the people giving you the orders or not, y'all still fought for this great country. Y'all put in work. It wasn't always just fighting, too. You know what I'm saying? But for real, it is an honor, and the very least we could do is honor y'all every morning. So, for real, on behalf of everybody, thank you, thank you, thank you. And big shout out to anybody else out there giving back to their local communities. The doctors, nurses, teachers, firefighters, police officers, the janitors, the garbage men, the coaches. You're making your community run, baby. That is what I'm talking about. Thank you all. But ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Place your right hand over your heart. Say it with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, baby. Send it to Jets! Oh, it's game time, baby. Horn, let's go. Oh, Chattadonia, you ready? Happy Friday, Junior, baby. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Friday, Junior. Oh, my gosh. Shout out the vets, baby. Shout out the vets. Tell them. Tell them, baby. Let's see. It's going to be an interesting one. We still got more Bostic. You got a little bit of Christine Lagarde. She's on the way, too. Remember, rate cut odds. People trying to claim a relief rally. China got one, but they're blaming it on the government buying ETFs. You got a lot of earnings here. So, again, there's going to be a lot of hype in Chiplandia. Again, TSM, that play is going to be looking good, but that means AMD, NVIDIA, even Apple, they all get in some of the juice, my friends. All getting some of the juice. So let's see how this ends up playing out, huh? Let's see. Let's have a good one. Let's have a good one. SoFi calls for earnings. I'd have to double check, but again, it might fit in line with those regionals. Again, I think if things could calm down a little bit, or we get those rate cut, I think
Order
pretty
filled.
much banks, regionals, they will be tied to rate cut odds. As weird as that may sound, but I mean, I hope it makes sense. So that's as far as I could go with the SoFi play. Is if everybody gets bullish on all of that, then yeah, I'm down. Nat gas dropped. I'm still in that play. It's going lower. Some people are saying the cold streak is snapping in other parts of America. It's still pretty freezing in some places, but it's not as bad as it was last week. So we'll see how it comes into there. And then oil is just absolutely running. Again, Pakistan is getting involved. Yeah, Humana got murdered. All healthcare, especially after healthcare was leading yesterday. That's what makes it that the much more interesting. So we will see. But Chad, we got 10 seconds. I need you to like the video. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Call out any plays. You need anything, you let me know. And let's have a good one. And God bless you all, man. Round one. Fight. Oh, wow. They opened the TSM option chain. Yalla. So those are trading at $4 right now. And then let's see the Discovers, those scammers. The Discover puts haven't opened up yet, I don't think. Up. So, again, keep an eye on the TSM. I do think 113 is the breakout level on TSM. So if it could get up to 113, that's where we'll probably consider selling or ghetto spreading them. You can ghetto spread the TSMs probably. That one wouldn't be too bad. Let's see what we're working with. Thank God we have time on them too. So if you really think it's going to go crazy, you should be able to ride that one out. Which ones do we have? We had the 108 calls. Why is my TSM is showing that they're not in the money yet? Am I tripping? Oh, I'm looking at the puts. Silly me. You could sell the 115s. You could get $1 back, pay for the whole investment, and then you'll have $4 more of upside, which isn't that bad, actually. I'm kind of down with that one. We'll give it a second there. Again, it's already up 8%. And then the Discovers, have they loaded up yet? Discovers are 60 cents to 220. They're scamming you on the spread. Again, those should have been in the money. But, yeah, your TSM, that's 60 cents to $4 right now, $4.60. We're getting close to a good one. Again, I do like the ghetto spread on there, though.
Target filled.
Let's see. Is it loading up? Discover. Did that go through? No. All right, TSM dropping a little bit. I'm going for the ghetto. You know, but now it's already dropped, so you might not be able to get some there. Docu, Pfizer tanking, Discover's up. I'm going to look at those in a little bit. Again, those plays, they want to move, but you could tell by the damn spread there. They're trying to scam that one. Yeah, bro, Discover's already came back down to break even. Scammers. But that one already, that could be a decent one. Docu's running up. Let's check that in a little bit. You're going to have to wait. TSM, you can still ghetto spread it, but it just lost a decent amount of premium there. $1 on the contract. WDC is on the high. Docu's up, but it's coming down. I think they're barely moving. Then watch PayPal and Square. Starbucks on the high. Again, ARM and some of the other chip makers, they're making a move right there. Duolingo on the high. HD, Starbucks, 3M is moving. Netflix, again, SPY's coming up here. So remember, we were up already, even though there was kind of some bearishness out of your boy Bostic too. It didn't really have that crazy of an effect. Broadcom on the high again. Broadcom's a big mover. That one could be interesting. Netflix starting to break out. Cart is waking back up again. Shopify on the high. Ulta, again, Elf got moved out of one of the things. DFS, they're scamming. But again, at least you could probably double dip. Those contracts are just at $2 and then they fell. And they would have been a lot more. Pfizer, Juicy Z, baby. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for 2 months. Good morning. Good morning, baby. Pfizer is down by 0.8. Yeah, Pfizer's down below 28 handle. Uber on the high. Square is still going up. Again, Square and PayPal. Remember, Apple is benefiting. Apple just had a rocket there. They were a little bit lower. Again, TSM still about 1 or 2% off of the high from the morning. Humana hasn't opened up yet. Well, that was 15%. But yeah, they scamming heavy on that. They scamming heavy. Again, Cart is starting to break out a little bit. I'm almost break even on that. I was just down like 15% on it. And I'm up on one peach, baby. There it is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Bradley Frizzle and the peach has arrived. You better get your ass up. Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. Oh, that's glorious. Thank you, my friend. Airbnb breaking out to the upside. 137, man. I'll take it. Is it going a little higher? I think I have old Airbnbs. We got to actually get rid of those. Any of those Airbnb leaps. I have one that's still, it's down. Literally, I have a leap that's $20 in the money, and it's still negative. So, again, that's word to how Leaps can still lose. Let's see. And then all the other ones, those are from years ago. All my Airbnb profits from the Airbnb that we put in Leaps are dead. Let's see. Little info on DraftKings. They own Pick 6, like Prize Picks, fastest growing private company. Oh, they own that one? I didn't know that. And then again, they're up today because some European gambling company did very good. Yes, CNBC, PayPal is nothing but that CNBC thing yesterday. They have an event coming up, but then the guy was just talking about, what's it called? The CNBC guy or the PayPal guy was talking about layoffs, and people got hyped on that. Where is that one? All right, I sold one of the Airbnb Leaps. Literally, I bought it for $3,000 like 2 years ago. It's $20 in the money, and I had to sell out for $1,200. It expires tomorrow. Thanks, Leaps. So you didn't make money? No. So literally, it's like a 120 call or 125. You're like 10, 15 bucks in the money there. At one point, a couple days ago, it was $20 in the money, and the play is negative. So yeah, you pay because you paid for time value. So you bought it with a certain break even at the time, and now it's not there. Ta-da. Leaps had good time value, but again, if you spend a year or two moving back and forth, it doesn't move up, you get clapped. That's why shares, again, whenever you ask, you're like, oh, should I just get Leaps on a stock? Yeah, maybe, but at the same time, it's like if you spend a couple of years doing nothing, then you're going to get absolutely clapped. That is an unfortunate reality of that one. Shares are supreme. You get less with shares, you get more leverage on a Leap, but the shares they can't expire. DraftKings is going to be a very interesting one. Again, is it near that 40 breakout level? Because remember, it was just at 38. That's a high level for them. I wonder how their earnings is going to do. Yeah, Cart's still killing it. Again, it's just getting all that hype from yesterday. We're still going down here, though. SPY and bonds not looking too hot. Discover's coming back down. I don't know where those contracts are at. They're at 70 to 90. Again, they were doing a lot better there. And then TSM still got a gain on there. Remember, I'm looking at Ghetto Spread, the TSMs. Those got a little bit more expensive, actually. Very interesting. 89, 90. MSTR on the low. Where are the other chip makers? Again, SPY going lower. Meta on the high. What is it? NASDAQ's up by 1%? Jeez. These guys is crazy, Habibi. These guys is a crazy. Meta's running 4756. So again, I don't think we filled the gap from yesterday. You're like getting close to it, but still holding up decent. But SPY kind of struggling there. Again, all of the chip makers. Broadcom's running into the high. NVIDIA 52-week high. TSM still holding 8, which is still fascinating. Fascinatingly large. I closed out of all of them. I closed out of the Pfizer puts, so it paid for the loss on the shares and whatnot. I lost like $100 after it, but I wanted to end up holding it, but I just figured the puts were going to get difficult to time, so I took them actually 2 days ago. So I would sell, if you want to hold the shares, I would sell the puts and then ride it out, or I would just marry them together and close them out. I did it like 2 days ago. Meta up. Pfizer still coming lower. And then SPY trying to bounce a little harder there. TSM still struggling, or again, it's still just holding that high. AMD starting to go up there. Discover back at 100. Remember, we were in the money earlier. Yeah, Meta's starting to go up good. Where's Google? Google is even doing good. Bonds still keep selling off there. So again, last couple of days, at least the dollar. Actually, dollar's back in the green. They hate you. JPM expects 70 basis points of rate cuts by year end, which takes policy rate to 4.5. Yeah, bro, why is the dollar back up again? Market's holding up great, but the dollar is going to be a problem there. Oh, baby, on a 35 stream watch streak? Oh, my goodness. God bless you, my friends. God bless you. Charlie, baby, 35 stream. That's a big one. I don't think we've seen that many. And then what are we looking for? Let me check DraftKings. Or 55. Let me see. Watch shake. That one's only on Twitch, man. I don't know how you get that one. What's the other one? Airbnb. Okay, I want to check something. When TSM still coming lower. Chip stocks are going crazy because TSM earnings was very good. So again, if they're going to grow, everyone's assuming everything in that space is going to be good because people weren't expecting them to go up like that. Hence the 2 standard deviation move. And then CART's still holding. Hopefully CART doesn't flip. SPY's kind of flipping here again. Bonds and dollars are already going the opposite way. Discover now below 100 once again. Let me check something. What would we need to get back? Let me try something. Earnings. TSM rising up again. I'm trying to do something. How do you do the quantity? There it is. Well, TSM, that'd be nice. All right, I sold a covered call on DraftKings for the long term. I sold a December, or I think it's December. Let me see. Hey, I sold a June 2026 $55 call for $700. Interesting. Yeah, man. Because that play came up, and then pretty much now with all the premium lately, I could get, it's guaranteeing me, like, what, I think 20 or 30% gain on DraftKings, and then it's pulling out. I mean, $700, I think, is a good amount considering. I think that's more than 20% of the total position. Because we only have, like, one deposit in it or something like that, or two. Yeah, so we have and then again, now we get some yield for the year. I'll take that. You want the stock to stay under? Yeah, or again, just like the Uber, even if it runs, you'll be able to sell out of it and do some other things. So I'm not too opposed to it. And then I kind of want to sell some on Airbnb, but I'm gonna wait for that. We'll do the DraftKings. DFS down 8. It needs to move a little more. Again, even TSM still kind of holding up here, waiting it for it to do something. Boeing's on the high. Again, Bond's still lower. NASDAQ is the leader on the day. You could probably blame the chips. Russell and SPY up a quarter. Dow down by 0.3. Boeing is actually really running right now, it looks like. They keep printing on the high ticker, up by 1%. Maybe not that crazy. Tesla pop. MO adding below 40. We're going to see once we get our next deposit. We got MO and BABA on the list, even Pfizer. Again, Pfizer's starting to really, really dump. Again, their ex-dividend stuff is going to be next week. BABA's down by 0.9. Apple is up 2. Yeah, that's part. Again, they got to upgrade, and the TSM stuff is helping them out. Humana's on the high, but they're still murdered. I like BABA. Again, I do think the China stuff is extremely high risk to reward. I don't know. I mean, again, in 10 years, I don't think BABA's going to disappear. But in the short run, even to the mid run, they got to do a lot of different things. They got to figure out a couple of different stuff. You think Save will be saved? Maybe. It depends on what they get from JetBlue. Again, all about how much they receive from that breakup fee. Tesla, they're still in the red. Again, anything chip-related is doing good. TSM still not doing much, though, after that first candle. I still want to eye the ghetto spread, but for now, I think it was just, again, it changes every 2 or 3 minutes there. And then Discover is just pinned at 100. So a nice flush of that will be good. Otherwise, watch out for the bounce. UPS. I like UPS. Again, I think it's a big name. You know what I'm saying? It's always going to be a part of the government, the economy. It's at a certain level. It was definitely a lot cheaper. There might be risks with how things play out, but if you're down to average down on it, it's decent, and you are getting it, I believe, at a discount from last year. So I could get behind. Meets the criteria, and I think it pays a baby dividend. UPS, again, NASDAQ's still rocketing. Oh, a 35-stream streak, baby. God bless you. My goodness. PayPal, red candle. Well, usually PayPal is known for randomly selling off its rallies. That's kind of what I was waiting for even yesterday. But, hey, if it holds up, I'll take it. I'll take it. ARM on the high. Again, more chip makers. Broadcom still holding up. Let's see, NVIDIA. They might be coming down here a little bit. And, again, the dollar. That's the problem I have once again. It's not like any of these rallies. Nothing's safe when dollar and yields just keep going the opposite direction. Health insurance, Humana came out with bad guidance. So Humana's already recovered 5% from the low, but they said they're going to be spending more money, and then all of them got clapped. When can we get back into oil? Once it drops and then there's good news. So that's kind of what I've been doing, if you haven't noticed. I've just been playing it when there's good news, but then the oil comes down. So, or again, news that would make it go up. So like right now, it's almost about to go negative after being at 73. I'd wait till like it goes below like $72, maybe 71. But then again, there has been a lot of oversupply news recently. Nike back under 100. Bank stocks doing horrible. They found a way to show life yesterday. SPY coming down. Guild on the high. I thought Guild was gold. Guild is gold. Again, TSM plays still holding up. Where's gold? Cart still moving up. And then Bank of America, that play still down. You got 100% on that play. So again, out of all those other earnings last week, that would just be pure profit since you already got your money back. But I was waiting for it to flush a little hard. Remember, those expire tomorrow, though. So literally, you just have 50 cents in the money. Wasn't it lower the other day? Yeah, I think we had like 75 cents if it goes down another 20. Out of Bank of America. DFS. I mean, I'd like DFS, $90. $90, Habibi. Fair price, $90. Come on. Yeah, ZB. It was at the low. It just bounced off of it. But my goodness. And then dollar still near the high. And then SPY near the low of the day. NASDAQ is the thing holding up. You could thank your TSM. You're 2 hours outside of Vegas. You took a drive through the night. What are you doing in Vegas, baby? And be safe out there. Happy Vegas morning. You going to be in Vegas at what, like 8 a.m.? There's no June DraftKings. I see it pretty much everywhere, I think. Yeah, June 26th. Then we sold these for $55. Yeah, IWM just died out of nowhere. That was just matched up with the S&P. But again, if those banks keep going lower, that'll probably factor into it. Boeing keeps printing on the high ticker. Marriott on the high. Interesting. JPM expects 75 basis points. What percentage cash? Right now, in the long terms, I have $700 from the DraftKings play. Other than that, I've used all my investments or my deposits. The KRE 59, I'm gonna wait again, like we talked about on the watch list yesterday, even all day yesterday. If the rate cut odds push back, I'm gonna wait on more of those plays. I like the idea. If rate cuts get optimistic, then you go for Russell, then you go for the regional banks. But if the earnings hasn't proven anything yet for some of these banks, and then on top of it, the rate cut odds start getting, falling back, that's going to change that play dramatically. DSM just staying pinned. And then SPY coming down a little bit. J&J on the high. Yeah, NASDAQ still holding up. Russell's close to going negative. SPY still at a quarter, and Dow has been down all day. Boeing, I'd wait a little bit for the long term on that one. Again, it's still higher than where it was trading at the beginning of the year. AMD all-time high. Bank of America. Bank of America just makes a stupid bounce, though. Every time, like middle of the day. The DFSs are coming up a little bit, but you're just under 100% on those. Scammers. Why Bostic bounce? I just called it the Bostic bounce last night because usually he says some bullish shit, but he actually, what he was saying, it wasn't even that bullish. It was more bearish than not towards rate cuts, but we still gapped up because he spoke early in the morning. You're going to hear from him 2 more times today, though. So we'll find out. Yeah, the Discovers they would have been on fire this morning, and then that random pop with the data in the market, then the market came back down. And the Discover said, "Oops, sorry." The next Bostic is gonna be crazy, bro. Let me see. You got Bostic at 11:30, I think. 11:30 Eastern. So what? Euro close? U.S. bank regulator, new liquidity rules need to handle bank runs. Oh, we're bringing back the bank run? Yallah, habibi. Yallah. So again, TSM, that killed some premium there, even for the ghetto spread. SPY trying to get a green candle at the bottom. Card is breaking out. So is Apple. Yallah. Yeah, Apple on the high. IWM. I think it's high risk, high reward. You're getting a way better price. I'm actually back up on my Russell plays, but it's near where I got in on them. But again, if those rate cut odds and how they play out, it's going to affect things. And then next week, you're going to have earnings. So like I said on the watch list yesterday, I really think we're going to kind of dance around here till tomorrow, get through the expiration. And then after expiration, I think earnings and that sentiment is going to cause carnage up or down from there. And then we're going to make the move leading into more data. And then the next month putting you, 30 days out from the Fed decision. So it could go both ways, Habibi. It could go both ways. NVIDIA, I think, is extremely high, but I think it's going to make the move before earnings. And then as you settle into earnings and then reacting to all the other earnings, again, think about it. Yeah, NVIDIA has gone up the last couple of days simply based off of AMD upgrades, and then now TSM doing good on earnings. So I don't know. I think it won't move on earnings, but I think it could move ahead of earnings. But I'm not really trying to long NVIDIA at the all-time highs. But if you ride in it, I would hold on to that thing if you already got it at a lower price. The dollar's up. So it's up another 0.1% here, a little bit more on the day, but it's still continuing along, which is kind of wild. Okay, Discover coming down a little bit. Got almost $1 on the contract. They were worth a little bit more. They would have done a lot better. And then Bank of America has still got good gains, but they're trying to come back up. CART is still breaking out. I'm almost break even on CART now. TSM, come on, give me a breakout, Habibi. Breakout, we get those spread. Yallah, everybody happy. You have an absolute blast at the arcade. I do. I love it, man. I'm a big fan of Big Buck Hunter 3. That's one of my favorite games. I'm a killer at skee ball. You know what I'm saying? I'm a master at the stuffy machine. Dave and Buster's? Nah, Dave and Buster's too rich for me, man. I like I don't know what arcades. What's that Japanese one? It's in Japan. They got a couple in the U.S. I've been to it once. It's pretty. What was it? I don't know. They have a bowling alley. But other than that, I don't know. Like Chuck E. Cheese. I could mess with Chuck E. Cheese. One hit. Round one. They had one in it. Round one. They're dope. And the other one, they even have a bar in San Diego. It's like a bar and arcade at the same time. I think it's like Coin Op or something like that. One hit, one punch. NVIDIA coming down there. See if any of the other chip makers, again, TSM just holding, Broadcom holding up. VWAP came down, but SPY went up. And then your boy, the bonds are trying to bounce, but they're still getting mollywopped. And then dollar's still high. We don't like this one. Dollar's still very, very dangerous. And then Bank of America bouncing there off the bottom. McDonald's on the high. URI on the high. Jake from State Farm in the house, baby. Happy day after the birthday. Hope you're living good, man. Slow news. There was a lot of news in the morning, but intraday we don't have much. But when's Lagarde? Lagarde is going to come on at 10:15. So Lagarde in 15 minutes, that could be moving bonds, euro, rate cut odds. And then where are the rate cut odds? Were negative today, and then they bounced around. So I think the rate cut odds got a little bit more bullish today, but they're still kind of sticky from yesterday. TSM doesn't want to move. It's because we're in the money. But, patience. Congratulations. By the long term, it need the patience. Need the patience. Belmont? I think they do have an arcade. I've been on the rides at Belmont. And then there's like a little ice cream place in Belmont that I get down with heavy. It's good. It's really good. It's like a churro ice cream thing. It's the best thing ever. Where is it? Damn Dizzle. They're chilling out again. Cart is. I can't believe people are buying this damn merger shit. I'll take it. But I'm like, why would they IPO at that premium and then Uber would buy them out? But again, analyst activity has just been getting people hyped up on that. Let's see. Why euro's stronger than dollars? Well, the dollar is up kind of overall, but the euro has been getting strong lately because every time they're like, oh, we're not cutting rates, and then inflation comes back, and then like things might weaken again. People are thinking they're going to have a tighter policy. People are kind of doubting euro and UK rate hikes more than us right now. So as of late, even in the last week, so they're kind of pulling back a little bit, and that's what's causing that. But in general, I mean, the dollar is still a menace. Will bring the dollar down. Kind of a reversion of some of the rate hike stuff we've seen lately. Again, even likelihood in a weird way, Donald Trump losing. So again, if you have it, I really could believe that there. I think that in the last couple of days, I do think the dollar, again, Trump wins Iowa, and then the dollar gets this little rocket off of everything. But, certain politics and then debt ceiling could factor into it. Uber's been pushing grocery. It seems they could reduce overhead by merging. Yeah, but Instacart's expensive, I guess. But you never know. You never know. I will take it, though. I won't argue. I won't argue. Bank of America, I think they came back down. TSM, 2 red candles now. So, again, I think that ghetto spread, we may have lost that opportunity. Still there, but we're just going to ride those in the money unless you want to take the money. Put play to protect gains. I was just looking at covered calls. The puts, I don't know if they're like, again, the ones with time are kind of expensive. So you're going to still spend a decent amount of money. But it worked on Pfizer. Because I'm like, right now, I was just at break even on Cart. It wouldn't be a bad idea if you're worried about it, especially with their earnings coming up. But then again, if they could keep running up here, we might get a little bit more. Usually they sell off after 2 days of gains, though. But a lot of volume has came in with those analysts. Again, SPY just flipped right there. Again, bonds had a bounce. SPY bounced earlier, and now SPY coming back to the low. Bonds, the Russell came up on that, ironically enough. Russell came up, and then your boy, the NASDAQ, dropped. Gold got clapped because the dollar, even though we kind of have some, relief rally, quote-unquote, the dollar is still an asshole. But gold's still up 0.39. It's better than yesterday, but it's still at those lows. Where does oil? Oil 73. It hit that 72.60. Natural gas is down. That's not getting a bounce. And then again, rate cut odds are still bearish, but they came up a little bit today. And then bonds are still ugly. It's like 3-4 days in a row. Fastenal, didn't they have earnings? They're moving up again. SPY once again near the low of the day. Let's see, where is that? 47.51. Levels 47.47. Remember, we couldn't get above that yesterday. You fill the gap at 47.39, and then you still haven't filled your 47.66 gap. And then you're like right in the middle of the last couple of weeks, even a couple of these death blows. You're like right there, smack dab in the middle. Walgreens dropping. Yeah, Fastenal. The call's going on now. Again, I think they're up a lot. Yeah, they're up 7%. If that call's going on, good news. I think they raised guidance. And then bonds trying to work their way up. URI, I've been seeing that on the high ticker all day. Getting some green shoots off the bottom, but still looks like it's dancing. Humana tried to recover some. Again, it recovered like 4% now. JPM, yeah, banks. Again, I think banks are lifting up the Russell right now. Bank of America came right back up here. Save low of the day. Damn, that's below our price now. But again, those covered calls are hooking you up. You still have some gains there. So I'm still net positive on that one. The Samsung Galaxy phone, everything AI. I heard people talking about it, and that was some of the news, but I did not get this. Like, I don't know. I really want a Samsung phone, but like last time I switched to an Android, it scarred me forever. I told you guys that. I'll never forget it, bro. I was driving in LA, I was doing real estate, and I saw this house, and I needed to write down the address, and like I'm like stuck. I'm on like, do you guys know where Barham is in Hollywood? You know, like kind of by Universal in like Hollywood, and it was like fucking packed traffic, bro. And like I needed to make a certain turn, and I got lost, and then I had my map on, and then the map started sketching out. Yeah, right off the 101, bro. It was awful. And I'm like, I was getting lost. I was already in traffic for like 50 minutes, and then I saw this house. I needed to get the address, bro, and I had to like, I tried to get to my notes and do the little split screen, bro, and then like everything just froze, and then I got lost. I couldn't get the address, and like it was that's it, bro. And then I never used a fucking Android after that. I had a Samsung Note 4, I think. It was a mess. It was a mess. I was like, you know what? Fuck this, man. I'm going back. I'm going back. User error. No, everything just lagged and it froze. I was like, what the fuck is this? It was insanity, bro. Apple sucks, man. No, it's been good for me. Dutch Bros and DoorDash. Well, one, DoorDash is getting more expensive, and like DoorDash is becoming like they're starting to nickel and dime everybody now. So I don't know, but I like as a company. I think it's up there. I'd rather get Uber, but then again, both of them are near highs. And then I've never been to Dutch Bros, but I've heard some good things. You're complaining about things you can't do on an iPhone. Well, yeah, but on an iPhone, if I'm ever stuck in traffic, I could just, the maps will always work for me. And then I could just go put up my notes and then write it down. And it doesn't lag me out. I've never lagged out on my phone on an iPhone. Okay, it's very frustrating. It's okay. This was like almost 10 years ago, so I just gave up. Okay, I think it was 8 years ago. You've ran out of gas. You have to park at Skid Row and sleep for the night. I don't think that was the only way to solve that problem, sir. You couldn't call anybody. There wasn't any way to get fuel to you. You're like, damn it. I guess I got to sleep here in my car. What do you mean you ran out of gas? And you're like, I guess I need to rest up for the coming days ahead. That's crazy. Yeah, you could have got an Uber, bro. Yeah, man, you could have done a lot of things. He's like, nah, I'm gonna just take a nap right now. Isaiah, we'll wait until the sunlight comes out. Are you you sound like a 15th century traveler. Or you stuck in the snow or something? That's crazy. You're like, I can't be leaving. I can't leave until the morning conditions. We need sun out to guide us. It will warm the path. Like, what? Bro, just like, man, honestly, you could have paid somebody to go get you gas. Could have gave them $1. I tell you that? Well, I do. One time I was in L.A., and I had to drive home, and it was like 2 a.m., and I had to drive home, and I was at that sketchy Hollywood station, and like my tire ran out of air, and I'm in the G-Wagon, and like I can't make it home. This tire is like, it's bad, right? And I pull up to the air thing, and I'm like, all right, I'm about to get stabbed and robbed. Whatever, welcome to LA in 2020. And this homeless dude out there, he fucking fills up my tire for me. He realized what I was doing, and he was like, nah, stay in the car. And he filled up my tire for me. As I tipped him $50. I was like, I love you, man. That's it. So I don't know. You could have, there's some opportunistic people out there. They want some opportunity. I could have done a lot of things. No, he saved my life, man. I liked it. Yeah, he was a G, bro. I'll never forget him. Spotify on the high. Boeing keeps coming up here, and then Bonds, Little Flush, TSM, they're robbing us now. $2 down there. You're about to fall out the money. Very, very quickly. Still up a lot, though. Again, 65 cents to $3 on the contract. Fast has earnings. They did good, and then they raised it. Boeing still up. Pepsi on the high. SPY getting a green shoot. Not so bad. All right. I need to go to the bathroom. Follow me on Instagram at the Trading Fraternity. Good morning. You have, what's her name? You got Lagarde in 4 minutes. So watch out for the dollar, euro, rate cut odds, all that good stuff. We'll see how that all plays out. And then TSM dropping a little bit, but I will BRB.
Happening a lot, and that's creating things because we only buy them at a price we think makes sense. So we now have not only willing sellers, but sellers who have to sell and a very willing buyer. So we're going to create a lot of very interesting investments. So what you find, Francine, in almost every environment, if all you're doing is what everybody does, it's not so interesting. If you have different inputs, you can create things with very good rates of return.
How do you look at AI? So is AI something that's embedded in the future of what you're buying, or do you go straight for AI play?
There are certain types of things, when you look at them, you have to, as part of an analysis, say if AI was more developed, is that good or bad for this type of business? So there are certain types of businesses really not good for. Certain types can really be improved. And so that's now on the checklist, if you will, for due diligence. And AI itself, and we've marshaled, almost all of our portfolio companies. I did a Zoom with all of them, all the CEOs, about 6 months ago. And I told them AI is no longer an elective course. This is core curriculum. And you're going to learn to love it. And the reason...
And understand it.
Well, understand it as best you can, and we'll help you. In effect, Blackstone Parent. And a lot of companies, we embed data
Order
scientists
submitted.
to serve as a link. And one of the things that we really want to do is make sure that every company has a plan, because if you don't and somebody else does, this is an area where if you're not the first mover and your competitor implements AI and they have bigger margins or more new products,
Order
then you're going to
filled.
start losing your market share. And some people...
That's Schwartzman. Anyways, thank you, Schwartzman. But why we're up is because I honestly want to say the chip makers. That's it. You got a couple of analyst upgrades, people calling for a baby relief rally. Again, you got a big expiration tomorrow, but I think the good chip earnings, TSM, it woke up a lot of different plays, but the data was good, and we should be a little bit lower, and you could kind of see that through the bonds and the dollar. Matt Sleepy, I think just it was nice. It was relaxing. But other than that, nothing too crazy. I think we could go either way today. Coin going up. But again, a lot of good, even earnings overseas. Even DraftKings benefited off of some of the European stuff as well, too. Meta. Remember, Meta was getting close to those all-time highs not too long ago. Nat gas to increase. So, Fedya, if you ask me the same question more and over, like it's not going to change the answer. You just got to wait on that. Or I would get out of it if you're concerned, because if it doesn't go up, it'll get killed. But like I said, it's dependent upon the weather there. And if that cold streak does get snapped, I mean, it should be coming down. But it's literally like predicting the weather. You know, so you got to maybe watching weather trends will help you with that play. And I mean that in all seriousness. That's probably going to be the thing that's going to move it. Otherwise, it should go lower. Harker doesn't comment on Outlook. Marvel, they're on the high again. Another chip maker. TSM, they wanted to get a little candle there. Still in the money, but man, oh man. Netflix. I like Netflix. Again, earnings are next week. I don't know if you want to prepare for that now or not. But sometime they could have a pretty, when they report on Tuesday or Wednesday. And that's why you played micro instead of mini. Yeah, because it moves a lot. Natural gas moves a ton. So like that NG, I would have been down thousands of dollars on that just in the last couple of days, and it barely moved. So instead, I'm down $300, but that's pretty big for micros if you think about it. It's because the play's already moved 2.5%. So natural gas could swing bigger percentage points. So you want to play that one smaller. You know, like a future, you know, even on like the ES or something, you know, the market's not going to move 2% in a day. You know what I'm saying? Or in a couple of days. But like natural gas can. Netflix, it is expensive. Last time I did the pricing, I've been looking at the pricing here and there, and like that shit has not gotten cheaper. So like Netflix, you're kind of paying a heavy premium. Uber's running. Yeah, Uber's about to hit a new high. Close to all-time highs there too. Oh, no. Netflix. So, yeah, they're still pricing. It's like at $80 back and forth. That's insanity. So, $80 is like what? Still $560 to the upside? Those are $250. Yeah, bro, they hate you. And then what? $80 to the downside, $400. Yeah, $150. You can't play Netflix for cheap, unfortunately. Yeah, Airbnb is killing it. Oh, it went up a little bit more. Could have got more for the leap, but I sold out. Thought it was going to be an L no matter what, but I didn't want that one to fall out the money.
Order
I feel like
filled.
it could have dropped $10 overnight. I've seen craziness on expirations. On Canada's housing market's been jacked up. Canada's housing has been jacked up for years. Even with variable rates, it doesn't matter. Canada, again, it was just, I think, their monetary policy, and then all of the people, there was a lot of China demand. They even limited people, foreign nationals buying, but it does. I think that's the prime example of real estate never coming down. I'm shocked by Canada. I always say it. Anytime anybody brings it up, that is, I think Canada is the craziest real estate market in the world. It makes China's real estate market look crazy, but at least China fucking crashed. But Canada is just like, if you ever like real estate has to crash because
filled.
of rates or this, it's like, look at Canada. But again, their unemployment is very, very good too as well. Canada's just been going up for decades, at least a decade. Canada was supposed to crash in 2015. Canada was going up 50%, and like houses were going crazy in 2014, 2015, 2016, and people were like, it's unsustainable. And then it still kept going for the next 10 years. And then cart's still up. Yeah, Airbnb's running. I thought we got rid of one of those leaps. My goodness. Save will continue to take prudent steps to ensure ongoing operations. That's good news, kind of. They're dying, though. Again, down 14. Remember, they got a downgrade today. Bro, analyst activity has been the thing driving a lot of stocks here, up or down. It's kind of insane. Because, again, if you got to think about it, you guys, I'll tell you that I'll give you a very, very big hint right now. This will blow your mind. I need 1,000 likes for this one, though. Oh, yeah, your guys are close. You're near 1,000. I'm telling you, this is going to blow your mind. You got to really start thinking about it right now. It's something very, very important for a lot of plays that are happening, a lot of plays that are going to happen. You got to think about something. You got to think about it. Carissa says she warned you. She said 1250. Oh, man, I don't know. Act now, 1,000 likes. We could, maybe we'll give you a good deal. 3 big candles here. Don't tell me. Lagarde should be on. I don't see any Lagarde comments yet. Again, Fed Harker says anecdotal data guides key for policymakers. Does not comment on outlook for interest rates. Watch the Fed futures as well. The Fed futures pulled back a little bit, ironically enough. Yeah, you need like 100 and something more likes. You're going to want it. You're going to want it. I will tell you the biggest scam right now. You got to start thinking scammy. Lagarde talking on Bloomberg. All I see is damn Schwartzman. $10-minute has to be read on DFS. DFS just rocketed up and then came down. And then TSM still holding 110. The walk is coming back again, dude. It's what was the song yesterday? The SPACs.
Over the road, take you to a panel discussion that is underway. It's on uniting Europe's markets. It's being led by Bloomberg's Stephanie Flanders.
She sounds like a weird towel, but she's kind of
ECB
important
President
until we get
Christine
Boston.
Lagarde.
Over the
Remember,
many
she cost
hurdles
it yesterday.
that we have faced and that
I muted
to
her.
put in place a capital market. And I would be happy to expand on what we should do, what method we should use, because I have some views on that, having gone through 15 years of trial and errors, failing to achieve the ultimate results. And I think that artificial intelligence can help.
So Pascal Donahue, you are head of the Eurogroup. Christine has very admirably kind of placed this on the economic case for capital market union. You've stated it as a sort of priority for the group. How are you going to pursue that in the next year?
So if I could give the political side of the coin that Christine has described very clearly when she described the economics of it. So politically, as a finance minister working with other finance ministers in the Eurogroup, so much of our effort, so much of our focus has firstly been on budgetary matters.
Handling, baby.
Where finance
God
ministers
bless you, baby. Shout out to TSM. That
of their time
us.
looking at how much they're taxing, how much they're spending, and how much they are borrowing. What little time has been available from dealing with those weighty matters over the many difficulties of the last years was then devoted to banking issues, to banking union during the global financial crisis, and in the aftermath of the financial crisis, building up and supporting our institutions and making all of the changes that were needed, the benefits of which I think we've seen in recent years. And I would contend, actually, that an opportunity cost, and a justified opportunity cost, has been the political focus on the need to build and deepen our capital markets. Has not been what it could have been, because other priorities needed time and needed economic and political capital. The reason that is now changing is exactly for the reason that Christine has just outlined there. What she summed up very, very clearly is we think about capital differently at moments of economic transition.
Now you have to listen to
and
this.
we are clearly at multiple moments of economic transition. Exactly at the moment that finance ministers need to normalise budget policy and reduce borrowing. And this has brought to the fore the issue that we are discussing here today. In terms of what change could look like from a process point of view, and I won't go into it too much because process rarely makes compelling content.
They're already here, I mean, you know.
Well, still, I want to keep the audience in the room, but I'll still sum it up quickly. Prime Ministers last March in the European Council asked finance ministers to look at this project. We've been engaged in a number of different processes and looking at it.
Faster. Bro,
and it's now going to conclude in March, where we are going to say to the Commission, and to the next Commission in particular, these are the areas that we want you to consider, we want you to act upon, and we believe as a group of finance ministers we can make progress on these matters quickly.
I don't trust
And just as the President outlined the different Ds of the changes that are happening, I think there's an ABC that we need to be aware of. What's the architecture of capital markets? How can we change it? And if we change it, what's the B of what it can mean to a business? And what's the C, critically, as a politician, of what it can mean to citizens? And that's the areas that we want to make further progress on top of the gradual and important change that the Commission have been making, and they have been, but we're all conscious that we have to do more now in the time ahead.
So, Christian,
see how you guys react to a DEI conference.
Does your heart leap when you hear that this is now going to be a priority? Do you see? I mean, is this something
Uber's
that is remotely exciting to you?
Carts
or
back up.
Actually,
DoorDash,
just not
Snap on the
a
high.
big deal for your business.
Damn, Snapchat wasn't it just at 18?
Well, it's super exciting for me, and I mean, if you have followed me for the last 5 years, I think
Disney coming up here.
I'm one of the biggest pushers and fans of the European Capital Markets Union. And for a couple of reasons. Number one, Christine and Pascal both said it. I think we are coming into an era over the next 10 years, and forget about the banks, from a corporate industry where operating expenditure is, so to say, replaced by a priority by capital expenditures. The number of investments which corporates have to do in Europe in order to be in the game, in competition,
coming back up here
from
again.
a digital,
Bonds holding
from a
two.
sustainability,
After that
ESG
little
point of
fiasco,
view,
you're going to get Bostic
is
comments in
tremendous.
3 minutes.
And I think those companies who are investing will be successful. Those companies who are not following on AI and ESG will not be there anymore in 10 or 15 years. And therefore, the necessity to invest is huge. We can't do it, as Christine is saying, even if I would love to do it. And I think, by the way, the European banks have done a tremendous job in cleaning up, being robust, healthy, sustainable, profitable. The numbers Christine just mentioned are impossible to stem for us.
Whoa, AMD
today,
flushing.
Unfortunately, 70%
Not too bad.
of
It's
the
just at the low,
financing
but that print
of
on the low
German
ticker made it look
Mittelstand
aggressive.
is done via bank
But AMD's
loans.
down
In
like
the
a dollar
US,
right
it's
there
actually
almost.
25 or 30%. The rest is coming from the capital markets. If you now think about how much investments will be necessary in the next years, the bank balance sheets, as robust as they are, will not be sufficient. And we also talked about the public finances. It doesn't work. And therefore, we definitely need the European Capital Markets Union. And therefore, I'm really, I think, the one who is again and again saying we need to make progress. Now, two things to this. Number one, I think we need to do a better job,
nuclear
including
issues
the banks,
with
explaining
U.S. cast
why
doubt
we need these
on willingness to
capital
engage
markets.
on
I
follow-on
think
to New
that
START
in
treaty.
particular in Europe, in my home country, there is also, from the society point of view, still a kind of a distrust in capital markets.
AMD
and that
still
may
on the
go
low.
back to
USB.
the 2008 financial crisis.
Watching
and
the
we can
banks start
criticize it,
slipping
but it
here
doesn't
again.
help.
Those helped
we
out
need to
the
do
Russell.
a better job in
The
explaining
Russell's still behind the
why
SPY.
it is
Dow's still
actually
red.
necessary for keeping the wealth and the prosperous situation which we have in Europe. And I think this is one thing. It's education of the
Fastenal's
people
still
why
going
it's
up.
so necessary in order
Little by
to
little, still holding
get
7.5.
Europe competitive and let it stay competitive.
Broadcom's still holding up
And
great.
the next item is, and I'm sure our partner to the left will talk about that.
Coals on the low.
When we think about European capital markets, we think about kind of the deep markets for whether it's equity issuances, whether it's bond issuance. But usually, if you get a deep capital market, then the sidearms are coming. And what I mean with sidearms is venture capital, private equity. Other people, other players are coming to the game. And this is, again, necessary in order to finance new technologies,
MCO,
new
Snap still
emerging
moving in.
industries.
SPY is
which
like
are
right
coming.
above where we opened.
And therefore, I think we also need to see the Capital Markets Union not only as
Cold
the
on the
financing
low,
port for
UNG
traditional
dying.
industries, but
Natural
actually
gas
as our
storage,
chance to
154
attract new
estimate,
industries
negative
like the
154
tech industry
estimate was
into
negative
Europe. We have the
155.
talent. We have the excellence. If you
Little
look
bit
at
of a red candle there, but it might do a
industrial
little bounce.
AI, some German companies, European
again, it was
companies
less
are
of a
leading
draw
in
than
the world.
expected.
But we also need then the underlying financing, and therefore my heart is leaping if I hear that.
There we go.
Okay, Nadia Calvino, I guess we can add you to the list of people that also, or the European Investment Bank also can't afford to finance all of the things that have been talked about. But what role can the European Investment Bank play?
Yes, two thoughts from my side to complement what already has been shared. And let me start where you started yourself, which is this feeling of déjà vu. Now, I was responsible for financial regulation around the euro crisis. I left it in 2014, and by the time we already had the clear diagnosis that capital market union was a top priority and that we needed to move as fast as possible in this direction. 10 years later, we are still discussing, despite the fact that I always agree with Pascal, I think that we can spend years discussing what the ABC is, and maybe it's going to be more difficult to reach an agreement on that. So my
I still have the
approach to
save
this
shares.
would be, let's
Remember,
do
I sold
it.
the covered
Let's
call,
start
so
somewhere,
I'm
you know,
still
and
up on
find
the play.
some
I think I still
low-hanging
have, like,
fruit or
$200
some
profit.
realistic element on which to start. It can be a market, it can be an
106 now.
instrument.
What is that,
I will
losing
come
shares?
back to this in a second.
We got almost like
But
300
an
bucks on the
additional
options.
reason to Christine's, to why we absolutely need it, is that for the climate transition, we need scale. So we have the technologies, we have wonderful startups and companies that have developed the technologies that are going to allow Europe to succeed, to rise up to the challenge, and we will and we can do it. But we need scale.
A little bit of
and so it's not
I
only
think
a
we
matter
should be
of
getting
capital
off
markets
there.
union,
Somebody
it's
said
also a
11,
market
but-
of integration of our markets and making Europe
no,
have the
Bostic's at
sufficient
11:30, I'm
scale
wrong.
for this to become profitable and to become affordable. Because
It's like
as
a couple
Pascal
of, like,
said,
central
these new
bankers,
technologies cannot
I
be
believe,
only
from
for
different
rich
areas, and then
citizens
Christine
or for
Lagarde's here, but
wealthiest states.
everybody's watching for
This-
Christine
this,
Lagarde. Again, her
transition
comments
needs to
yesterday,
reach the
they
whole
helped
world.
factor down
And
some
so
of those
I
rate
think
cut
that
odds,
it is,
and everybody
it is
got a little
of
jumpy
the
off of
essence,
it.
and it's urgent
So
that
she
we
says
actually
nothing,
proceed
that's-
with this.
that might be even
And this
better
brings
for
me
the
to my
market,
second
but
point, which is
you never
what
know
can
what
the
could happen
EIB
here.
do? And as you know, the EIB has, I think, been very successful in becoming the climate
And then
bank.
SPY literally hit
We,
barely
fixed
under the high of
ourselves
the day.
a target of
And then
50% of our
another red
business
shoot right back
in
down.
climate finance. We outperformed this
VWAP
target not
ripping on
only
the high
in
now.
the bank but as a
Again,
group
the next level is
together with the European
47.65.
Investment
I
Fund.
think that fills the gap
Actually,
too.
I can tell you, I mean, we will be
Right, you're still
disclosing
dancing
the
around. At least you're above
2023
47,
results
47.
next week in detail, but I can already tell you we've made 49 billion euros in green investment in 23, up from 38 the previous year. So, you know, the progression is, I think, outstanding. It is impressive.
Slowing right now.
And we were also pioneers since 2007 issuing climate
Tesla on the
awareness bonds.
Kind of
you know,
flushing, it's not that
this
bad,
is
but
the
just at the
pioneer
low,
instrument
hitting a bunch
of
of
climate
lows.
bonds, of green bonds. Why don't we start there? Why don't we try to find an area, a market where we have the taxonomy? Europe is in the lead in developing these new instruments and green finance. There's a strong political commitment to the climate transition. And I think the EIB should indeed play its role in being a catalyst, de-risking investments, supporting financial sector, also, you know, taking on new instruments and trying to explore new financial engineering instruments that can allow us to fund the necessary investments and mobilizing public and private partnerships, which I think are going to be necessary if we are to succeed, which we will. Thank you.
Roelof Botha, you're sort of sitting smiling at the end, and I'm sure you're very polite
lady
anyway, but you
sounds
look like
like-
you're being particularly polite.
She sounds like Lagarde, but
you
that's
sort of
not
have this
Lagarde.
feeling that a lot of what people have just talked about is completely irrelevant to you? I mean, this project is partly
Jets
about
on the
having
high.
more Sequoias,
Apple
sort of
coming
deeper
up, see if the
sources
chips
of
get a
venture
bounce
capital
here
as
after
well as
that
other
little
sorts of
AMD
financing
flush.
in Europe.
Meta's
And I
going
don't
up
get
again.
the sense that
And then Disney's still holding.
any of this
Meta
would sort
new
of
high.
fundamentally change the way you
PayPal's
think
holding
about
up
Europe.
too.
But maybe, am I completely wrong there?
That's mixed. Firstly, thank you very much for having me here. I feel it's an honor to be invited here today. You know, at Sequoia, we back founders that build early-stage companies. And over the years, we've backed Apple, Oracle, Cisco, NVIDIA, Google, PayPal, YouTube, Instagram, WhatsApp, the list goes on. So the companies we back today account for 27% of the
DraftKings new high.
When they were
We
private
sold those
companies.
covered calls
So
earlier.
we operate in a very different part of the universe. And candidly, I'm kind of daunted with the challenge that you face because we deploy small amounts of money in founders who have a dream to build for the future. But I feel that in our business, money follows the opportunities. And so we've been active in Europe for over a decade. I remember in 2010, May
Spotify
2010, I was
209,
introduced to a
52
young
guy.
company in Copenhagen
And then
called
Snapchat's
Unity.
still working
There
its
were
way
30
up.
people in the company. And I hopped on a plane and I flew to Copenhagen immediately. And we made an investment in that company, and today it's a global winner. They have $2 billion in revenue. It's a big public company. We did that with UiPath in Romania. So from my point of view, there's a tremendous amount of
leading. I think
opportunity
that's
in
helped
Europe.
push up-
And
pushing up
we
this
now
high.
have people on the ground in Europe looking for opportunities. Last year, 11 of our
Netflix
44
price
investments
target
were in
raised to
Europe.
500.
We have a
560
fantastic investment in
from
a company
500
called
by
Robco
UBS,
in
maintained at
Germany,
buy.
building robotic solutions. Penny Lane is a software company in Paris. We have an early-stage AI company called Dust that's also based in Paris. So I see tremendous opportunity from the bottom up with founders who want to build for the future, and hopefully that becomes a driver of economic growth.
But is Europe, just to go back, is Europe already a single market as far as you're concerned? I mean, is that, what are the, do you face any obstacles?
From our narrow point of view, from a capital market point of view, it really is the same because we can hop on a plane and go anywhere and make an investment. The challenges are more from an operating point of view, where what the founders tell us
on
is
the
they
high.
want easy access to deep pools of talent. So Penny Lane wants to concentrate all the best talent it can in Paris.
Damn,
from
UNH
wherever.
oh, yeah, they got clapped
They
off
want
the other
predictable and consistent regulations, and they obviously want a large market opportunity. But I'll say the other thing that's changed about
10:30
European
buyers.
founders,
Still
by the
got
way,
another
part of
hour
the reason
till
we're so
Euro
enthusiastic
close.
about
Let's see.
being here is that they have global
Volume's
ambitions.
pretty decent, 15
I'll be
million to
honest, when
start
I
off
first
the first
traveled to
hour.
Europe 20 years ago, I
Not
felt
bad
that
at all.
founders here
Again,
were aiming
that chip
for
earnings
small
from
exits.
TSM is
They were
doing a
happy
lot.
with an acquisition.
I do
And
like
now they're
PayPal,
really
yes.
big.
Thanks for the TSM.
Your
I got you,
phrase,
baby.
money follows opportunity.
Good morning. Disney again on the high. Spy hitting a new high of the day right
Do I
now.
get the way around? Yes. It just makes you. I mean, are we focusing on the wrong things? I don't know who wants to take it up on, but
Order submitted.
Should we be thinking more concretely about the opportunities in the broader economy and let the money come to it?
But that's what we are doing, and I completely agree with the analysis you've just offered there regarding the outlook.
Yeah, dollar's
for
coming down,
European
though. Again, dollar
entrepreneurs.
should be down.
If I look at
with
how
much
we are
we're
doing
moving,
with
but,
our share
I mean,
of
we'll see.
patents
Again, the
in
yen
different very
got
important
even a little
parts
stronger
of the
today,
global
so
economy.
Order filled.
And if I look at the entrepreneurs that I meet in Ireland
see.
alone, their ambition,
All right,
their
Spy
innovation,
breaking out a
you'll be
little
very
bit here. I
familiar with
think you
Stripe.
are filling
Of
the
course, you've
gap
invested in.
At the
from
seed
2
stage,
days
we were
ago.
the first
You're
investors.
right
one of
there.
the first supporters.
You're in the last
Now,
candle again. You closed at
globally
47.66,
successful
so
company
right
with
at the red line.
peers, nowhere near that scale yet, but many peers who are as ambitious in Ireland and all over Europe to
High
do
tickers
that all
gassing
over
pretty
again.
good. Again, PayPal,
But it's
Disney,
precisely
some of those earlier
because
runners,
now
chips are
the
still high,
appetite
some
is
more than
there in
others.
the European economy for that
And then
kind
Meta
of
and
innovation,
Apple, those are
with
big
leaders
caps leading
able
into
to
the
do it.
highs.
The question then becomes, how can Europe itself play a role in providing the savings
The
and the
ANS
capital
buyout, we're
to
just waiting for it
contribute
to
that,
shift. You're going to
and
get
obviously
180
ultimately
in cash
to
or
benefit
190
from
in
it as
cash, and
well.
then 0.3 shares
And
of
to
Synopsys.
build on your point,
So
it's
however
about making
Synopsys
sure the
moves,
money is
ANSS
there
is probably going to move
to
with
follow
it,
the
give or
opportunity,
take.
and not just which, while of course
Yeah, Morgan
we hugely
Stanley is
welcome
coming
it,
down. Watch the other banks.
money coming in from other parts of the world.
TSM
which played a
flushing
role
now,
in
109.
European companies growing to the
So
scale
they've given
they
up
are.
3% from
So
the
it's
morning.
because of that practical opportunity and need that we're all now devoting time to how we can make it happen. God knows it will take time. But in
Spotify
Europe,
on the high,
Panel
TSM
on
still going
Uniting
lower.
Europe's markets, done by, of course, chaired by our very own Stephanie Flanders. We'll get back to that in a second. We're now joined by Germany's Finance Minister Christian Lindner for also a great conversation on the future of Europe.
German, sorry, yes. I don't think Lagarde going to say anything. We're going to have to wait till we get a headline. So far, though, I mean, it's been the same situation. A little bit of that run and optimism this morning, but the Fed futures are going. They're trying to price in some cuts today, but bonds in the dollar not playing along. DFS dancing with the 10 minutes. I think they're just pinning and clapping some of these big earnings movers, and then the money's going everywhere else. But that being said, do we have 1,000 likes? We need a couple more, baby. We need a couple more likes. I would love to share with you guys the scam going on right now. That's it. Maybe. I think, you know what, y'all lag. Man, you know, now it's 1,200 likes, you know. I think it's going to have to be 1,200. Y'all had that whole ECB to do it. Y'all lagging on there. Y'all sleeping on me. Y'all sleeping on me, man. Y'all, I don't think y'all want to know. I don't know. I'm taking the Carissa Hines route now. Yeah, we're going to have to go at 1,200 now. We were there. We were very close, but it stayed pinned. Too much resistance. Yep, the Carissa Hines tag. There you go. 100 more. You're almost there now. There you go. Let's go. That's it. Now we got to raise the price, man. I'm sorry. Yeah, y'all asleep. Y'all sleeping. Y'all been listening to too much Davos. You're counting your losses on saves. Sell the covered calls. You should have, at least. They have came down a little bit. Pfizer today, I think they're probably getting clapped with some of the healthcare stuff, but they have been selling off here. I think next week they'll start to run, though, with everything else. I wish you could like it 1,000 times. Don't worry. Don't worry. You'll get there, though. You'll get there. Just hit it. Like inflation. That's it. All right, you need like 20 more. 20 more likes. That's it. 20 beautiful souls out there. If you could hear my voice, paging all Autobots, calling from around the world. If you hear this call, like the video. Where the hell are you, Autobots? There you go. There you go. We got the 1,200. All right, are you guys ready for the biggest scam going on right now? I told you this on the watch list. We talked about it here a little bit already today. It's very simple. These earnings, or these analysts, these upgrades and downgrades are having a very big effect on the market, or at the very least affecting individual names. Does anybody know what the scam is happening right now? People are looking for earnings growth, but what is the scam? There is something very specific happening. It's not the premiums. You've watched this happen before. In the last 12 months, you have already lived through this before. The scam goes both ways, bearish and bullish. Yes. Some of you listened. If you don't realize what's happening, 1 week, 2 weeks ahead of earnings now for some of the biggest companies, and then the buybacks are going to open up, they are literally lowering and raising expectations. They are sandbagging everything. So the expectations 3 months ago when the market was running up, all the expectations were high. So what are they doing is ahead of the earnings now, right now, literally a month, 2 months ago, all of the expectations were very high. People were expecting growth. And now, right ahead of the event, they're all lowering their average estimates. So now, coming into these earnings, the estimates are getting lowered. And then why do you think some of the companies are running to the high side? Because they had low estimates, and now the analysts are raising them. And that's why you're probably going to run bigger ahead of the earnings on an upgrade rather than not. And then these companies now, the stocks are going down with the market a little bit. But all of these expectations, we're still expecting growth. But literally in the last 2 weeks, the bar for earnings just got lower. We went from having one of the highest bars in the last year to now you're like getting to the midpoint. That has all occurred in the last 2 weeks. So legitimately, you know, these analyst upgrades and downgrades are probably going to have more of an effect in the short run and on earnings than not. But that is literally what is happening right now. So keep that in mind. That's what I'm saying. You might want to follow along with it and keep your eyes out for it, because that's just literally you're waking up every day, and then no matter what the market does, these sandbags up or down, they're causing a bigger effect than the broader market, and they're moving in their own little world. So welcome. Welcome to the world, my friend. Welcome to Wall Street. And then natural gas still down from those numbers. Then they clap it. Well, they let the company do its thing, and then they'll make their other reports. But literally, even without even without upgrading or downgrading them, they're able to lower the bar. So they could still keep their stance on the stock and update it after the earnings, but they are lowering and raising their earnings estimates. So if the stock, again, had a high bar, they're lowering it and saying, well, we now expect it to come in at the midpoint or at the lower end. And then, again, other analysts follow along, and before you know it, a company 30 days ago that had a high expectations for earnings, even though the stock may be up, they are lowering that, and then it's taking a short-term drop going into the earnings. So now if they come in and report better, or what was already expected, it comes in higher because they lowered the bar substantially. And we've watched this happen last year. But like I'm saying, a couple of months ago, just like a month and a half, 3 months ago, this was supposed to be one of the hardest earnings to beat. And even though people are expecting broader EPS growth, the bars have all been lowered literally week after week for the last 2 weeks. So it's quite fascinating. Bond's coming down. SPY just still doing this little dance. Honestly, it's kind of like a weird remix of yesterday, but once again, we're like getting these little weird moves, but the back and forth, I mean, you're still a couple death candles away from going lower. It's not like we're out of the danger zone. And again, dollar is still up. PayPal Raul. Yeah, a little bit there. Almost, that's actually $1 and change. Or is that 30 cents? The pseudo bear strat is in effect. Just analysts, I mean, again, just the bar is moving ahead of these earnings. That's all. So even though we were just hitting all-time highs near it on a lot of names and even the SPY, it's not like people are expecting all-time high earnings. They may have at one point, but they're now starting to lower those expectations. It's just been the trend over the last couple of weeks. NVIDIA popped. CRM on the high. That's an interesting one. NVIDIA, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, $600. And then it'll probably dance around there until earnings, have a good earnings, go above 600, then sell off $50. And then like a month later, go back above it if everything is good. I will average down on BABA. We have to wait till we get a deposit, though. And then, again, BABA's going to have to compete with a couple of names. BABA's going to have to compete with Pfizer and MO. Tesla go MBA mode. Arr. The door fly off of the Tesla. Their rate cut triggering another rally. What if earnings are good on the tech side, and is that still enticing? It could. I mean, if Russell and small caps have good earnings growth, which is expected in this environment, they'll be able to go up and make a move. But for the most part, the real outperformance of the Russell and the big money